Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Balance with Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, CC News, and NBC Sports, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Rumble, Podcaster, Spreaker, and more. I'm Dr. Marissa. I'm your hashtag positive opinionated host, and I am so delighted that I'm still here 653 consecutive weeks later. This is show podcast number 1267, but who's counting? And I see eyeball rolling in. Thanks so much for joining me this morning. I am getting to practice some flexibility here. There was a little bit of a misunderstanding or a mistake. And I know I'm on NBC News Radio, but I have camera studio, and so I think my guest was YouTube radio interview. So we'll see if she is able to pivot quickly. If not, we will definitely reschedule Stefanie Powers. But I am so delighted that is it. If it's not today, but we're gonna do what we usually do in the meantime, which is taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich. And y'all know this is what I do. It's a good life habit. It's a hashtag discipline that I like to practice on this show. We've been at about over 2 years now. I think over 2 years, and it's a great way to start your day. Top of the bun is gratitudes. What are you grateful for? And then bottom of the bun is, what are you grateful for in yourself? So we're going to start gratitude outside of yourself, and then you go to bed tonight, modeling for you now what you are appreciative, grateful and appreciative of inside yourself. And that way, when you go to bed tonight, you're not thinking about all the things you forgot to do, all the things that were wrong. Instead, you're going to choose to focus on those things that you like about yourself, that are good for you, about you, and about, let's see, in thinking about who done you wrong, you're going to be focused on who done you right. So that's the bliss of discipline. I would love the eyeballs, so I would love for you to participate with me as we are, we'll see. If Stefanie, if she doesn't, plenty in my, we could probably play Quincy Jones when I caught him on the red carpet. So there's plenty of things, just keep it here. But the top of the bun is, I am grateful that I have a very, very deep library of amazing people that I've gotten to interview the last 12 and a half years. And I'm thinking of the nanny, although she didn't come to talk about the nanny, Fran Drescher. At that time, I was radio, no TV, so no cameras. But I'm going to have to go find that. And she'd come to talk about the nanny, or if I invite her now, she wouldn't be coming to me to talk about life as a president. But you know how I love my guests to take their limelight and shine it on those areas of temporary darkness. So that is definitely the order of the day. And I'm grateful that I've had Gloria Allred on my show. I'm grateful that my whole I was to humanize her. I got a lot of flack for having her on because not a lot of, actually, a certain population do not like her, and it's men of a certain color or absence of color are crazy about her. And I so grateful that I got to interview her to find out what drove her, and come to find out that her experience in life, the ones you hear about, negative ones, she had to have an abortion as well, couldn't do it here, went to Mexico. I believe it was Mexico. We're going back 11 years, one interview. Just her experiences has led her to fight, be super strong, and super a huge advocate of women who have been mistreated. And so that made me, and hopefully some of that population, cut her some slack or change the way that they view her, because that's what it was about. I love getting to the behind the image that people either could criticize or align, all of those negative things that I just am alert to. That's why this is a show about hope and happiness. I am grateful that I have choices. I guess this is the spot of the bun. I was just thinking that I'm grateful that I have so much and so many things to be grateful for. And I know that this is the month of gratefulness, is I like to say it. And it is Thanksgiving, and I'm hoping that you're not spending every single waking moment on your MS scrolling or on TV, listening to conjecture about what the new president's going to do, because honestly, just wait until whatever happens. As I like to say, one, there's nothing to worry about until there's something to worry about. And then number two, it is, if you cannot change what you're worried about, then, it's like caffeinated coffee. Why bother using that time and energy? If you just tuned in, our plans are to have Stefanie Powers in, but we had a misunderstanding this morning. If she doesn't come in, I will play my little interview with Quincy Jones, who's on the other side. I will also, I'm thinking right now to bring back today, we can watch, since we're on the classic TV interviews. I have so many to choose from. And if you're here and you have a preference, whether I pull someone from Happy Days or someone from Facts of Life or someone from you name it, those that maybe interviews that you missed, Jerry Jewell, you choose, and we'll put that on until we get Stefanie in studio. All right. Bottom of the button. What am I grateful for inside myself? What do I appreciate about myself? And I appreciate that I know how to use the best. I have the use of my time, and I get asked to speak on work-life balance and time management all the time as a speaker. And one of the things that I do is I say there's no such thing as work-life balance, and I sit down, get laughs, and then I go back. In all seriousness, the biggest time waster is to use your time, which you'll never get back, to focus on people, places, and things and events that you cannot control. Thank you for that finger. Somebody just gave me a finger, not that finger, but this finger. That's on my cashew gallery. People are rolling in, so I appreciate that. So you have the focus to either spend all day looking at the headlines and getting concerned and or being thrilled, whatever your reaction is, and lose an hour or maybe even 2 hours of a day listening, watching, and then talking about things that you have no control over. So if you want good work-life balance, if you want time management, that would be my number one suggestion for you, is to stop talk about things that you have no control over. And that will probably be like 88% of things that are on the news right now. So that's my Happy 8 challenge for you Thanksgiving season. What you can have control over, and I talked yesterday, I lose track, was Veterans Day. And there's some that you do have control over, which is visiting and talking to people in your family who've served, or people in your family or friends that you know have served. And the really great project that I'd like to give you as we're waiting for Stefanie Powers to come in. It is called the Library of Congress Veterans History Project. And I had her on yesterday, Mahindra. Those of you who missed the show live, no worries. You can always get everything I do afterwards on my YouTube TV channel. But this is something that I'd like everyone for this particular Thanksgiving season to be able to participate. And they give you a template, they give you tips on how to interview, and it really will dramatically change the particular holiday season. I promise. If you can, more than say thank you for your service, you can really make a difference in someone's life, asking them up their story, and also being able to just time instead of watching a leather for football. I will do that too. I love watching, but I think this holiday has turned into food, football, and shopping. And I'm gonna try to bring back Thanksgiving, love, caring, and connecting. So especially those who have family who have lost that love feeling because of the election. And to remember, we're all way more in our politics, and so it is my desire that you all have a very beautiful holiday season, and we can all come together. We are United States, emphasis on united. We are human, emphasis on kind. Let's use our power of focus to stem the flow that the direction seems to be going, and kind of move it to the we want, which is ability to agree to disagree, solve problems with bipartisan solution, find things that we love and are concerned about in common, not fight. If you hate whoever won, that's still hate. And so my big brother, Mike Bernard Beckwith, said on Sunday, if you really want to do something, if you're really concerned, go make a friend with someone who is being, who are afraid that they are going to be persecuted, or you're excited about the way they're going to be treated. So that's how we can, beyond voting, make a difference. And we all want peace. We want peace of mind. We want peace of heart. Everybody I know have more fun, wants to have great relationships, wants to leave a legacy in our lives. So let's focus on that, so that this holiday season is not further separation, but a coming back together. And that's the bottom of the bun. These are things I am grateful for on the bun, and the end of the bun, things that I appreciate about myself. And I appreciate my ability to continue to be as positive and as kind and accessible. Actually, I have a little joke. I was in a meeting yesterday, and somebody was talking about that she's always been Paulina, her middle name Leanna, and I I agree with. I definitely have that as part of my persona. Those of you who know me, those of you who don't, hopefully personality that way. Okay? But when, when so I was interviewing, who was I interviewing? This is probably, this was when I was at Civic Hour Studios, and I used to do a once a month because I was only on once a week. So the last week of the month, I would bring up a guest who would talk about sex and pleasure, and not just mainstream, but I use my show to learn things, which is always interesting. But I was doing sexual healing with Marissa. I brought someone on who was the, I think because I didn't know, I think polyamorism had just started to be popular, and so I'll never forget one of those memorable shows. And I asked him to introduce himself, and me, I like to do the one word adjective that describes who you are, and that I'm polyamorous. And I said, oh yeah, my middle name is Leanna too. And my sound engineer, I think it was Tony at the time, he looked at me, and I'm like, what? And he kept shaking his head. And then I finally understood that poly is not the same as amorous. Funny story. So I appreciate my ability and my love to learn new things. I appreciate my ability to be funny. I'm gonna try stand up. I've had that on my list on my bathtub list, which is big bucket list to try. I was told my entire marriage that I was funny by my husband, and I own my funny now, which is nothing about divorce. And so I've wanted to stand up. So I just finished writing a comedy sketch. And if you'd like to be part of my audience, the first time I tried that, let me know. But see, I'm going to finish with my gratitude sandwich. Thank you for joining me for breakfast, taking a bite of gratitude sandwich. And now I am going to take a quick break for news, weather, and traffic. When we come back, we're either going to have Stefanie Powers, or I'm gonna put it, and we'll just reschedule at the point. She thought it was a radio show, and she thought we were going to be on the phone instead of using a link. So that's what happened, and it's nobody's fault. But I'm so delighted we're going to reschedule. But I'm going to play and let. I was wrong. Oh yay! I am so happy. I was just saying just now that it was a misunderstanding, and
yes, but I never got your email. It never arrived. You were supposed to send me the link, but it never got here.
Oh, another mistake.
So I'll tell you how complicated my email address is. It's Elliot, right? So it's named after the fact that when I was building my house in Kenya, the elephants broke in from the forest, and I had all the cement footing, the cement foundation already. And the elephants decided to take a tour on top of the cement just before it was dry. And they walked all over the house that wasn't yet finished, obviously, and left their footprints. So I thought, well, that has to be good luck. So I just put the floorboards over the footprints, and I called the house Elephant Walk.
Oh, that would have been a good
story. That's the origins of the use of that term.
That's a beautiful term. Let me just give you a nice formal introduction. I'm so delighted to have in studio Stefanie Powers, who began her career at age 15. She's hosted with screen legends John Wayne, Maureen O'Hara, Lana Turner, Ava Gardner, Don Sutherland, Bing Crosby, Lee Remick, James, Sammy Davis Jr. I guess in the whole show with these names, but I'm going to say right now. The first TV series, The Girl from UNCLE, marked a milestone in U.S. television history as the first hour-long series featuring a female in the leading role. Her career includes over 25 miniseries, over 200 episode guest starring pieces, 35 movies for TV, 2 more series, Mother and Father, and long-running beautiful that I love to watch, Heart to Heart, starring opposite Robert Wagner.
And a few movies in there.
And a few more movies. It's 45th anniversary.
And a lot of musical comedy plays in the West End and even on Broadway. So it's been a long go. And by the way, my name is Stefanie Powers, and this is my longest relationship with anybody. This is Papuga. Papuga has been in my life for 51 years. Can you believe it?
No.
Isn't this gorgeous?
51 years. I thought maybe it was a shawl. She's so beautiful.
Yeah, isn't she beautiful, Pa?
She is beautiful. You're so beautiful.
She's not stuffed. No, she's just relaxed. There you go. Now you're moving.
Hi.
Hi.
One. Wow. You beautiful heart. Oh. Hi. Well, we could have a whole year too. First, I want to formally welcome you to the studio, Stefanie Powers. Please welcome.
Thank you. I hope that
to give you a little actual formal applause. And I'm delighted to have you. You just missed breakfast, which is the way that I start all shows. So I'll just do one question. What are you most grateful for? And that is thing that we do at the top of the show. And we just
do I most what?
Grateful for? What are you most
Well, I'm most grateful for having survived cancer 4 times. I think that's enough to be grateful for.
That is amazing. Wow. I had Charlotte Ray on, and she also had fame. She survived many times. So that deserves another applause.
Tremendous amount of diagnostic possibilities, as long as you have a good consortium of doctors. And I mean a consortium, because it really does take a village of support and of great doctors who will collaborate with one another, because so frequently, and I'm sure you come in contact with this, doctors are in institutions are so proprietary about everything they do that they don't tend to share it with other doctors who are from other institutions. That's not the way to help people with diseases. So I am lucky because I have a team of about 6, some of whom are research scientists, and a tremendous amount of support groups. There's a wonderful organization here called Say No to Cancer, which is about survivors and for survivors, because once you have had cancer, you are effectively living with cancer. And you must never let down your guard. You must always be diligent. You must be your own advocate, and you must learn and educate yourself to all of the things that are happening and everything that is happening about your body. But I'm sure you discuss this with your patients. I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I muted for a second because someone was hearing an echo. So sometimes when I go mute, it stops the echo. But thank you. I was Stefanie. I'm not an MD, actually a PhD. So I don't deal with the body. I deal with the mind. So, but PhD only stands for wild, higher, and deeper. So I really don't know much. I'm so glad that Edie is here, who is celebrating your amazing career. If you've just tuned in, this is Take Advice, I'm Not Using It. Get balanced. Dr. Marissa, the morning show. I am your producer on KCAA NBC News Radio, AM 1050, FM 6.5, and streaming everywhere, especially my YouTube TV channel, which is right now on camera in studio, speaking to us, the iconic actress, pioneer, and activist too. She just got an award, Stefanie Powers. I'm so glad that we made this work, and your tenacity got you on in my studio. And I'm so delighted to be able to get to know you on the show, which is why I don't do pre-interviews. I love keeping it fresh. And I'm just delighted. So you, like one of my guests many years ago, Fran Drescher, I love actresses and celebrities who don't come on here to talk about their career today. I don't invite people who just talk about their career. I want celebrities who take their limelight, use it to shine the light on areas like you just did with cancer, and like you will do with your William Holden's Conservatory, Wildlife Conservatory, which you just won an award for. And for that, before I forget, I'm giving you Dr. Marissa's Beneficial Presence on Planet Award.
I have to tap for sound. You keep going in and out. The technology is not wonderful, but it's probably my area because we have a lot of construction on near where we live. And but let me just clarify what you've just said. So the William Holden Wildlife Foundation, which has been in existence, we got our 501c3 public charity in 1982, is the backup and the education component to the ongoing specific wildlife conservation that was being done on the Mount Kenya Game, which was established by William Holden during the time that he was one of the biggest movie stars in the world. And in 1959, he created the first ever wildlife conservation effort in a game ranch that was the first in all of Africa. Nobody in 1959, the general public at least, did not have the word conservation in their vocabulary, let alone the notion of extinction, which didn't really awaken people until way in the latter part of the 1970s, when suddenly people came out with, I think Brigitte Bardot came out with a T-shirt that had a baby seal on it, and it was so compelling to everybody that it highlighted the plight of the baby seals who were clubbed to death every year because people wanted to wear them on their backs. I guess human beings always thought that the fur of animals looked better on them than it did on the animal. Fortunately, I think we've gotten over that. I certainly hope so. But when Bill died, and Bill had 30 on the game ranch, which he never really talked about, but those days, very private. He did not want to make any personal publicity about the effort that he was one of the in his life. And it was and continues death. But he never the education component be attached to the game ranch. So after his death, I formed the William Holden Wildlife Foundation to create that game ranch. And the mission statement of the foundation is wildlife conservation through education and alternatives to habitat destruction. Our education center services about 11,000 students a year, all locals, all residents of Kenya, all Kenyans of all ages. And then we have an outreach program in very rural communities that are within our reach because we have to be able to drive to them in a day. and we've got 7 of those, reaching communities of approximately 6,000 people. So we're very busy. Our new project, for which I was just recognized by the honor that to 20 people at the United Nations on the occasion of an ebook which heralds all of our various works that humanity and the planet. That was really largely not only about wildlife conservation, but our regenerative soil program, which are the foundation and the basic fundamental of regenerative agriculture, which, if adapted, can be the salvation of climate change. Now, you want me to extrapolate on that? I would be happy to, but I don't know how much time we have.
We have still another 30 minutes, and I would love you to. We do have to take a quick station ID break and news, traffic, and weather, but very short. Back in 2 and 2. This is Stefanie Powers with me live in studio. I'm so glad you joined us on Take My Advice, not using it. We'll be back. Remember, Chuck Woolder used to say in 2 and 2. So I say peace in, peace out. Don't go away. And I hope you're enjoying the photos from the William Holden Conservatory. It's very, very easy to find if you want to do that during the break. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using Get Balanced with Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA MC News Radio. Home to the Asian Oprah, number one talking in the IE. And the station that leaves no listener behind. And today, I'm so excited to have in studio an actress and activist. She just got recognized at the UN, and I'm so delighted to have her here live in studio. If you have any questions for her or comments that you'd like to make, like he just did, then please do. If you're driving and listening to the AM FM side, do not type to your, but when you get to wherever you're going, please go to my YouTube channel, Dr. Marissa Pay. You'll be able to interact with us, and I'm so delighted to have her. Please go back to my show, Stefanie Powers. And I don't know if the going in and out due to your construction or when a phone call comes in or a text comes in, sometimes that happens. So if you put your silent on, I don't know if you know how to do, some people don't. If you do the notification off, then that might, and the reason why sometimes I'm talking and you can't hear me is I'm trying to mute my mic to give you more power on your end so that you're not
Sorry.
Yeah, doing that. No worries, because we're getting 88% of it, and it's great. So please don't. Let's just keep going. And hey, shocky happens sometimes, and you're getting a chance to exercise our ability to hear better.
It's so boring to try to explain something and it's only being heard 88%. Too bad.
Well, when I mute my mic, I think it's 100%. So that's what I'm doing right now. So, I'm gonna mute my mic, and so you're just gonna have to go like this. If I start talking with you can't hear, but I want to hear from you. I want to hear more, as you said, about this amazing thing found. And I do know you're right. It was one of the very first foundations that really, that I think he was probably a pioneer taking the limelight and using it.
He was a visionary. I think that's the word for him.
I like that. I wore this. I wore this actually. I don't know if you noticed. It's for the Wildlife Foundation.
I can't because I'm on the phone.
Oh, never. I'm wearing like an animal print, but
oh, good. Well, as long as it's a print and not an animal.
No animals. My daughters would kill me. But go ahead.
So I will.
Continue.
Let me go on about soil regeneration, and we have to be very careful about how we look at these terms. I remember, and you may remember, when organic became the buzz phrase of everything. Organic food, organic shampoo, organic toothpaste, everything. And there was absolutely no criteria for what that organic meant. What does it mean? Just because it has a bit of herb in it, is that organic? Or just to say that I'm growing organically means that you're just not using chemicals? That's not actually it. And it was the EU that got involved, the European Union that got involved when they began to also capitalize on the popularity of everything organic, and they developed criteria and protocols to prove that criteria for having to say that in order to clean soil that had once been growing nutritious food, hopefully, but with chemicals and sprayed with chemicals, had to be completely eliminated, and you had to have tests on the soil that you were growing this food in, that maybe so that the soil could have cleansed itself by the time you then make a harvest that you can call organically grown. So it's not just enough to say I'm pulling all I'm not using chemicals anymore. You have to clean the soil of the chemicals and allow the microbiology to come back and increase in numbers by your enhancing it. So that's where we come in. Because we've done so much damage to the planet by factory farming and overexploitation of all of our green belt all over the world, climate change is not because of cars, and electric cars are not going to solve the problem. That's going to create another problem. And I think most people know that. So that's why they're not buying all these electric cars. And anyway, my question has always been, well, if we're going to power all of these cars and we're going to provide a grid that's going to power all these cars, what powers the power station? It's not just solar, because that's not strong enough. It's not just wind. It has to be a combination of a lot of things. And right now it's coal or petroleum products. So what are we doing? Are we really attacking climate change at its very core?
Because an interesting way to really challenge and look at that. And you're absolutely right. It's cleaning the oceans by using a paper straws. The plastic ocean, it is not from the straw, folks. It's from the way that they're fishing at the bottom.
But because this seems like such an enormous problem that most people just shut off about it because they don't find anything that they can contribute to it. And I always say, especially to young women, you have to be if you are conscious and if you really want to do something positive, look at the labels on all the clothes you buy. All these cheap clothes that are available at all these stores that girls are just throwing away as if they think, oh, it's going to biodegrade in a landfill. It doesn't biodegrade. It's made out of petroleum product materials, and they never biodegrade. I was impressed by a terrifying story some years ago after they had exhumed one of the mass graves in Bosnia during that horrendous war. The bodies had decomposed, but the clothing was intact, especially the sports shoes. They were like the day they were bought. That says something, and that points the mirror back at us. we as individuals need to look at what we buy. We need to be conscious consumers, not just, oh, well, it's what I like and what I want, and I'll just throw it away when I don't want it anymore. That's not being a citizen of the world that is concerned about the future of this planet. So I always try to encourage people to look at themselves, look at what they buy, look at what they can do without. And please, please, please do not buy clothing that cannot disintegrate, cannot be recycled. I mean, don't you agree?
I absolutely. I was just going to ask you if you on the label would tell us that is.
All of those things are on the label. This that I'm wearing is made out of bamboo. My God, more wonderful for the environment than bamboo. It grows like weed. It can reforest the entire planet, and it gives off oxygen, and it's biodegradable.
So things that are synthetic is what you're saying are not a good idea.
No, they won't disintegrate. They will
They
not.
worry. That is a scary story. I can visualize the landfill and to go shopping there for your clothes.
Yes,
Sorry.
Get a shopping cart and go to a landfill and dig it all up. But I think you can also find on the internet conscientious manufacturers who are using alternatives to petroleum products. Oh dear, let me just get rid of this call. Oops.
Yes, please do. Tuned in. Take my advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Marissa. The morning show on KCAA AMC News Radio, the station that leaves no listener behind. AM 1050 FM 106.5. Streaming everywhere, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, and of course my YouTube channel that houses 1,266 podcast shows. But who's counting over the last 653 consecutive weeks? And if you missed any of my great shows that all house there, especially on Monday for Veterans Day, if you want to make this holiday special, I am supporting the Library of Congress Veterans History Project. So if you know a veteran, instead of just saying thank you for your service, please interview them and get their stories in the Library of Congress. And today I'm so delighted to have Stefanie Powers in studio. Any of you who watched The Girl from UNCLE or Heart to Heart will absolutely remember her, but it's way more than that. Not just on stage, but the most important thing, the love of her life, William Holden, began this work as a visionary, and she's speaking to us, teaching us about things like soil regeneration, as well as really doing good for the environment with what we choose to wear. And I'm so delighted to have her. Please welcome back to my studio live here this morning with beautiful bird, Stefanie Powers.
There we go.
And I have to ask you what you use for skincare, because you started at 15 and your career is amazing. And I'm not asking you how young you were. I yelled at because I asked Lieutenant O'Hara how old she was, bit my head off. But what do you use for skincare? Because I know people are going to ask.
It's really hard. I mean, most of my life is spent in equatorial Africa, so it's the sun. Strong, and I've had a lot of skin cancers. I keep my heritage is Polish. I should live in a forest. I have sort of reddish hair and freckled skin, and this is not great for exposure to sun, especially the sun of today, because we've depleted our ozone level. We forgot to talk about the ozone level. A layer that is no longer really protecting us as much as it did, nor is it protecting the planet and all the things we grow. It's letting much more ultraviolet in. So my main cosmetic routine is sunscreen.
I've heard that it is like the number one understood thing. You don't need all of the other creams that don't even absorb, but sunscreen blocks is the best thing. And before we talk more about the ozone layer, I love understanding how people become what they become. So do you know when you were a kid that you have this incredible IMDb list, as well as doing what you did. I would love to hear the love story, how you met William as well. So we have 10 minutes left. You choose.
The book. There is a book that I wrote years
I
ago.
didn't know that.
Yeah, there's
So
a book called One from the Heart. And it was written, I mean, the inspiration for writing it, because I've never really, I'm not great about talking about myself. The inspiration was that I lost my mother and I was diagnosed with my first cancer. And there was, and my boyfriend had also been diagnosed with cancer. So it was a very, very dramatic period of time. And when somebody suggested that I do this, I thought, well, maybe it was a catharsis to do the process of writing it. I did write it myself. I went to Africa. I sequestered myself in Kenya, and where I don't have television and I don't have a lot of distractions, and the internet rarely works. So I could write to my heart's content. It was a very interesting exercise because I had written screenplays before. I was a member of the Writers Guild, but I had never, ever attempted to write a book or anything biographical. Oh, you've got the photograph of the book up there. Yeah, well, that's it. There it is. There's the cover. It was published by Simon and Schuster, and I wrote it in 9 months. It was I kept referring to it as an overdue pregnancy. It was the agony and the ecstasy about that anybody will understand who's ever tried to write a book about themselves. It's not all that easy.
Yes, I know. I actually have this one, 8 Ways to Have Happiness from Wherever You Are. And I'm grateful that it was #1. It's a national bestseller. And I'd love to give you a copy if you would like. And
but I'll send you mine and you send me yours. All right.
Sounds good to me. A charm new Hollywood memoir. So I can't wait to read it and get to know and have you back on. You obviously are a guest that has so much that we can learn from you on. And so that's the invitation right now. We'll have to talk to Harlan, but you're the only one I would love to have back on. So how did you meet? Will you tell me that much? Because it was so...
well, I met him about 3 times before I really met him, because I met him when I was very young. And then I met him again when I was a little bit older. And then when I met him when I was the right age, that was the time that we really actually connected. So there were so many things that we shared. And I think I tried to put into the book a realistic story about him as a man, as well as the movie star that everybody thought he was. And he was a remarkable human being, I must say. And some of the best parts of him didn't have anything to do with his career as an actor. We shared a lot of the same desires and curiosities for travel in unusual and sometimes very uncomfortable places. So we were soulmates. I think that's probably the best way to describe what became of our relationship. It was through the last 10 years of his life. And I guess I could say that what he had to teach, I wanted to learn. So that was a very...
How did you get into TV film? Like,
oh my gosh. Well, you better read the book. It's a long story.
Okay.
And I had the great privilege of being involved in the motion picture industry in the old studio system. So I got the last of that golden age. I wouldn't have traded it for the world. It was an incredible education. So I was at 16 years old. I was under contract to Columbia Pictures. I had my 17th birthday on the set of the first movie I did under contract, which was starring Glenn Ford and Lee Remick, and it was called Experiment in Terror, which Blake Edwards directed and pretty much wrote. That was the beginning of the contract, which led to 15 more motion pictures until they sold me because they owned me. And they sold me and my contract to MGM to do The Girl from U.N.C.L.E. The Man from U.N.C.L.E. was already a huge success. And they wanted to do a female version of it. At the time, nobody understood, nobody really made any publicity or talked at all about the fact that it was the first hour television series starring a woman. In those days, just to give you an idea of how different the world was, in one season, we did 29-hour episodes. Can you imagine? 29. We worked from morning till night. We did an hour show in 7 days. And Noel Harrison
Wow.
in pretty much every shot. So it was a good thing I was young because I was exhausted even then. But whoa, what an amazing amount of work it was. And really a great training ground to be able to work fast and not be overly pampered.
Yes, absolutely. We're running up against the end of the show, and I want to make sure that everybody knows how to get the book. It's called One from the Heart.
Amazon,
Yes,
good old
on Amazon. You just Google it. You can also Google and support and read up and donate or be a part of her
the William Hope
501c.
Foundation.
Yes, it's called.
The website are the acronyms, so it's whwf.org. And we'd love to have you come on board. Anybody and
Yes.
everybody.
Yes.
At any
It's so.
level.
Go ahead.
Oh, just at any level. There's a lot of information there. There are a lot of projects to get involved with, and there's a little something for everybody, I think.
Mhm. What would be the one thing that you would wish for right now? I don't talk about politics or religion, but I am all about hope and happiness. The book is called 8 Ways to Happiness. That's my mission, a happy 88 mission, 88 million more happy people in the next 8 years. How do you think what would be the one thing that would help people be happier
Oh,
than they
darling,
are?
if I knew the one thing I could solve the problems of the world in one thing, I think you and there's a lot of people talking about the fact that we have to put aside our differences or appreciate our differences and celebrate our differences and celebrate the fact that at least in this wonderful country, we can express ourselves, or we should be able to express ourselves. When we adhere to policies or social movements that tend to be just as fascist as movements that are not chic and the last thing. I think, we have to look at what fascism really is. It's the control of your mind and your opinion. And you're not going to be able to express your opinion and be respected for your differences as well as your similarities. Our similarities are great. And if you look at the core of our differences, they probably are not all that different. Everybody wants the same thing. They want health, they want happiness, they want prosperity for themselves and their families. So if that's what we all want, everybody can have a difference of opinion, but don't chastise them and not allow them to think the way they want to think just because it doesn't agree with you. I'm sorry. That's a little bit of my philosophy.
I don't have access to the applause on the phone, but that was applause right there. Because if you go back and watch the beginning of the show when I was stalling or waiting for you to come on, Edith is the witness. That's exactly what I said. So it's not just me, y'all. Stefanie Powers agrees with me. I agree with her. We've got to get back to our ability to agree to disagree, because this world would be so boring and not very cool if everybody believed the same way. We have strength and beauty and creativity in our differences, but hate is hate. So whatever you are hating, you're still doing the same thing the person you're hating is doing. So stop it. Anyways, that's my short version, Stefanie.
Yes, that's a
Um,
good one.
Thank you. I'm so happy with all of that. And I hope you don't think this was a waste of time, because it really doesn't matter. It just shows that, what's important is so important. And I'm so delighted. I mean it. I would love to have you back. I'm sure my listeners and watchers would too. You have a plethora of things to help us balance. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Share. This is my I know you.
Beaucoup.
Oh, wow. Very good. I don't need to teach you any Chinese. Yeah. Quincy was flirting with me in Chinese. So that was, and blessings to him on the other side, and a breath of peace and comfort to all of those who miss him. But
Yes, I
anyways,
do
thank
too.
you. Thank you.
I
Yeah.
miss.
Did you get to meet him?
Oh, I knew him for years and years and years. He lived
Oh,
not right around the corner from me, and
oh.
one of his wives was a dear friend of mine, Peggy.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. I got to meet him twice, and both times he said, 你很漂亮. So, yeah,
Ah,
I'll keep that.
你很客气.
谢谢. Thank you so much,
Okay,
Stephanie
再见.
Powers. So delighted to have you. And I'm signing out. Could you do this with me? This is how I sign out of every show.
Let me
Peace
see.
in.
What is that?
It's a peace in,
Oh,
peace
yes. This?
out. Yep, peace
Okay.
out.
Uh-huh.
World peace, world
Okay.
peace
World peace,
through inner peace, through inner
inner
peace.
peace. Great.
Yes. Thank you
Great.
so much.
That's great.
Take care, Stephanie Powers. That's it for today's amazing version of Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa. You're getting lots of hearts and fingers. People are giving you the thumbs up, not that finger, but the other finger. And we're just delighted that you've been here with us. I'm signing out. Don't forget to tune in. Tomorrow's Doctor's in the House. And we are just loving all of y'all. Thank you for joining us today. And now go and have the best day ever. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye. Bye. Let's see, leave.